The Epstein saga is once again roiling the country, and we have a president of the United States who is acting very, very strangely when it comes to the whole Epstein files saga, given that he repeatedly has told the American people over and over again that there is nothing to see here, but simultaneously is whipping votes to keep the files from being released and blocking Congress's efforts to release more and more of the information that the government has in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. And what it's doing is it's causing this moment in America where Trump is at his most vulnerable that really I have ever seen him since he came to power in 2016. So we're going to look at the latest spat between Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I'm going to give you guys some thoughts on whether or not this is truly the end of Trump, as we have heard in the media speculation about, is this the thing that is going to finally do him in? But before we look at all that, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot in the algorithm. So first and foremost, I'm going to say that if I had a nickel each and every time I have heard somebody say, or someone in the media speculate, hypothesize about whether this thing or that thing is finally going to do Trump in politically once and for all and for good, I would be, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I would be able to walk down to the gas station here down the street from my apartment and buy myself one or two sodas. It's not right. It's not the end for Trump politically, and I don't think any one event or one thing can ultimately do Trump in once and for all. And really, it boils down to that MAGA has formed into a full-on cult. And I don't flinch saying that word, because we have years and years and years of evidence of a fan base that is so rabid and so dedicated and so ready, willing, and able to do all sorts of mental gymnastics and be totally hypocritical in many different things that people believe and people say. You have about 33% of this country that is fully in the MAGA cult. And we've already heard from some of the people in this MAGA cult justification for Donald Trump's, affinity for very, very young women. And, it was, what was her name? I'm forgetting the specific anchor, the specific podcaster, but it's this MAGA woman who came out and said that, oh yeah, Trump just, he likes close to, barely legal girls, and that 15 years old is liking a 15-year-old does not make somebody a pedo. So we're already seeing the goalposts move in terms of that, where MAGA is making up justification for why it's okay for, ultimately, if it does, lo and behold, Trump is in the Epstein files, they're already making justifications for as to why it's okay for Trump to, do sexual acts with underage women. And, that's not me making that up. They're already doing that. And to me, that's evidence of, 35% of our country, they're just off the deep end. They're not going to be able to be pulled back to reality ultimately. And the Epstein files won't do it. But what we do have here is a situation where Donald Trump is going to be entering into his lame duck season at the end of the day, because America's BS meter is going off. when it comes to what Donald Trump is feeding the American people when it comes to the Epstein files. And I think that it is going off so much so that the American people may just hand Democrats enough power to seriously dilute Donald Trump's attempted fascist takeover of the United States of America. And me personally, I'm feeling much better than I was a month ago or 3 months ago or 6 months ago, where it looked like Donald Trump's administration was going to be this runaway train that had the potential to do in this American democracy experiment. 260 plus years of this democratic experiment that we have been doing here in America. It looked like Donald Trump was set to end that. And now it's not really looking like that is going to be the case based on how pissed off Americans are at this administration for a whole bunch of other reasons. But then you add this Epstein cherry on top, and it's where, sure, Donald Trump might not be done in once and for all by the Epstein files, and he'll still be in office. He will not be. He could be impeached by the Democrats over and over again, and he will not be removed from office because of the fear of that the Republican Congress and Senate has of this 35% of the country that I was talking about. He will not be removed from office, but ultimately, this is a situation that Donald Trump, it's not good for him whatsoever, and really does have the potential to send his administration right into a very long 2 years of a lame duck season. And now I want to show you guys is a text that Marjorie Taylor Greene sent to Donald Trump, where she posted this on Twitter. She texted Trump. She said, "Check the flight logs of Epstein's plane. Bill Clinton is on there like 26 times. Hillary too. For many of us, releasing, the Epstein files has always been for the women who were victims of Jeffrey Epstein, but also because we believe that Democrat bad guys like the Clintons were entangled and involved with him. Epstein was the spider that wove the web of the deep state. Lean into it." So, Green here, I don't really think that showing this text has the effect that she thinks it has. I mean, she's still kind of angling to ultimately help Donald Trump turn this whole saga into a political positive for him. And, to me, Marjorie Taylor Greene is somebody who she is shrewd and calculated and young and power hungry enough to be able to see the writing on the wall. And she's realizing, I'm going to way outlive Donald Trump. I'm going to way outlive this whole MAGA movement. And, she's somebody that she doesn't have any core beliefs ultimately. She's just this shell of a woman who, whatever she believes is whatever she thinks is going to politically benefit her. And she's like Trump in many ways like that. But, what we're seeing here is she is still trying here to spin this for a positive for Trump. But as the administration loses control of the narrative when it comes to the Epstein files, we're seeing her break away from the administration as Trump is continually attacking her for mentioning the existence of the Epstein files and how, it's something that the Republicans have been asking for and they campaigned on, as a matter of fact. But lo and behold, Donald Trump, if he was to be in the Epstein files, he cannot release them, right? Because ultimately, they're going to do every single thing that they possibly can to convince the American people that Donald Trump is, he was friends with Epstein, and he was in close proximity to him for a long, long time. But no, Trump was the only one who was in close proximity who wasn't doing bad, awful things. It was all the other Democrats, right? All the Democrats were doing bad things. Trump wasn't. The American people are having a really hard time buying that one, a really, really hard time. And this comes amidst the economy not doing very hot right now. And Donald Trump campaigned on, uplifting the economy. And as he continues to fail on that promise, his signature promise he made in the 2024 campaign, the American people are going to, the independents that flipped, right? These independent voters that Trump won over in 2024, and voters that flipped from, in some instances, from Obama to Trump, and then to Biden, and then back to Trump again. These voters are quite literally making their voices heard. I mean, look no further than the last election that happened, last Tuesday, where people are making their displeasure towards this administration heard. And it won't be enough to ultimately totally do Trump in politically, but again, it is very, very harmful to his overall agenda of ending the American democratic experiment. And I'll show you guys here just real quick, Trump posting, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a disgrace to our great Republican Party. And then Greene responding saying, I'm now being contacted by private security firms with warnings for my safety, as a hotbed of threats against me are being fueled and egged on by the most powerful man in the world, the man I supported and helped get elected. Aggressive rhetoric attacking me has historically led to death threats and multiple convictions of men who are radicalized by the same type of rhetoric being directed at me now, this time by the President of the United States. And then I want to show you guys here real quick a poll of the latest AP poll of Trump's handling of the economy, where, this is November 5th. This is already 10 days ago, where 33% of Americans approve. Man, oh man. That is getting down into some of Biden's lowest of the low moments, where, it was predicted that if Biden had stayed in the race and it was Biden versus Trump, Trump might have gotten over 400 electoral votes against Biden. And this is something that the administration is losing the control of the narrative of. Look no further than how Trump, lashed out at this reporter just yesterday on Air Force One. He said, this reporter is asking him the very simple question that I think a lot of Americans are asking right now, of, if you're totally exonerated, right? If you have nothing to hide when it comes to your involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, nothing to hide, nothing to see here, then why wouldn't you, Mr. President, want the files to be released? Wouldn't the release of the files completely and totally exonerate you if what you're saying is true, that you never did anything wrong? And he goes, hush, hush, quiet. Or he says, he went, quiet, quiet. He, shut down this reporter in a forceful way. And mind you that to even be a reporter, to get on Air Force One, you have to totally be someone that Trump sees as being friendly to him. And for, him to be getting hit like this on Air Force One, the administration is losing control of the narrative of these files. And it is seriously, it's a situation that has gotten to a point where, no, it may not end Trump ultimately, but this is becoming something that, we're gonna see, I think, some drastic measures taken by Donald Trump's administration when it comes to trying to take the American people's attention off of this in whichever way he possibly can. And what that means or what that looks like, I couldn't tell you, but not a good look for Trump whatsoever. And again, I think that what we're seeing here is the end of this fascist takeover of America. And it's, I feel in my heart, again, much better than I did 3 months ago, definitely than 6 months ago, where it looked like this administration was a runaway train. And I'm hopeful for the midterm elections. I'm hopeful, I'm hopeful about the election of Zohran Mamdani as the mayor of New York City, a true progressive with true progressive ideas that is showing to this country that progressivism can win and it can take on, we can take on Donald Trump head on and win. And, ultimately, I have hope for this country. I think that we are headed in overall a better direction than we were. And we'll see what this next week has. I feel like this next week is going to be pretty crazy in terms of just whether or not Trump's able to bury this for a period of time longer and buy his fascist takeover of America more time and distract the American people like he's been able to do time and time again, or if this is going to continue to keep picking up steam in the media, which I'm leaning towards thinking that that's what's going to happen based on the fact that this story has not gone away, when it seems like all the other, a lot of other stories that have come about in Donald Trump's time in power in America have come and gone, and he's been able to glance it off. This seems different, but I don't think it'll be something that does him in once and for all. That's all I got for you guys in this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and take care.